Hello friends, it's Kayla and this is a book haul. I haven't done one since I think February, but I feel like I always start my hauls out this way and I don't know why. I think it's like just in case I make a mistake, I want to like preface my hauls with I don't really remember which books I've already hauled and if I should haul them again in here, because like a lot of times in vlogs or in video challenges that I do, I pick up books and I haul them and I tell you all about them. And so like, is it interesting to still include them in a haul? Or should I only talk about books that you haven't seen me talk about before? Let me know. I would really, really love your advice with that. Or maybe the answer is to start going back to monthly hauls, because then I could like have it all kind of makes sense, because it's just like weird now to haul a book after I've already done a vlog on it and talked about it in a monthly wrap up. I don't know. I think there's around 25 to somewhere between 25 and 30 books here. And I'm going to go through the ones that I've already read. So I picked up The Love Curse. Also like, okay, sorry. I just feel like this haul isn't accurate. Like, I feel like I'm lying. Because, like, I didn't buy all of these books in the last 2 months. There's probably, like, well, I guess only, like, 3 or 4 books that I might have bought, like, a year ago. And I just, like, shoved in my closet because I knew I was going to use them for future videos. But I never want to, like, tell you what those books are before those videos. So, like, this I feel like I've actually had for a long time. This is The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre by Robin Talley. I've talked about it 3 or 4 times already. It continues to be about a girl who's running a stage production of Les Mis, and then an actress girl is joining the play and she's misunderstood, and it's their love story and it's like self-discovery. It was a fine time. Watch the vlog. Also in that vlog I read The Only Black Girls in Town by Brandy Colbert. I've talked about this so much because I even included it in a quarterly wrap-up where I talked about like my favorites of the quarter. This is about 2 girls who are the only black girls in their small town. She's new to town. They become friends. They find these diaries from this woman in the past and they try to track her down and find out the truth about her life, and it's just like really fun and covers really good topics. Be more vague, Kayla. Next is After the Silence by Louise O'Neill, which is about the murder of a young woman on a secluded island, and then we are 10 years in the future where we're finding out the truth about the murder. There's a documentary crew. There's a lot of sus families and people, and who knows who's involved and what really happened. Everyone thinks they know what happened, but is it the truth? You'll find out. I also read this for an entire dedicated video. This is Places No One Knows by Brenna Yavinoff, which is about 2 teenagers and this like weird magical situation where the girl can travel around kind of in her dreams, and they have this connection, and it's like they're together in their dreams, but is it real? When they see each other at school they pretend not to know each other, but like maybe they don't, maybe they're both imagining it. I think that sums it up. Next we have Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bully, which is about a young woman who witnesses a murder, and she is then thrust into a police investigation where she is acting as like an informant. There's a lot of things going on in here. There's a relationship, there's hockey stuff, there's a lot of culture in these pages. There's a lot of drug related stuff, and Donna's, our main character, uses her knowledge of like traditional Ojibwe medicines to help the FBI. So that's that one. And then I have, what am I missing? Oh shoot. Okay, so let me haul A History of My Brief Body in my next haul because it's very cute and I want to hold it up. But the other 2 books that I read for a recent vlog are Mrs. Death by Selena Godin, and this is about death. Death is personified in here as a main character. She is a black working class woman who shapeshifts and does her work unseen, and she connects with this Wolf. He's a writer, his name is Wolf, and he is writing her story, all the deaths that she has experienced, the deaths throughout time, humanity's like understanding of death, and there's a lot of really interesting writing choices in here and narrative styles, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know if fun is the right word. It kept me engaged. Next up is How to Pronounce Knife by Suvankam Temavogsna. This is a series of stories, characters from Laos and their experience mostly coming to Canada and the hardships involved with experiencing a new culture, of people not accepting them, and then joys and triumphs the characters experience. And not to spoil my entire vlog if you haven't seen it yet, but also incredible. Next up is a book that I've talked about relentlessly, and I still haven't read it, but I feel like I've hauled it or like mentioned it so many times, and that is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, which I'm going to pitch the exact same way. It's about a woman who has a clone, and they get together and kill her husband. That's really all I know about it, but I'm excited to read it eventually. I think I put it in like my most anticipated reads of the year. I put it in my TBR probably for... Did I put it in my February-March TBR? Or my April-May TBR? And do I have time remaining to read it? What we should go on to next is the other books that I bought for the vlog, where I bought books under the influence. I haven't read these 3 yet, but I have bought them, so I should show you. This is The Centaur's Wife by Amanda Leduc. This is like a fairy tale. We're following a family. I think it's like a survival kind of story where the world is in shambles. I think there was meteors, and then a woman had an experience in the mountains with this centaur when she was a child. I might be totally butchering this entire synopsis, but now as like a mother and a wife, she still feels like she's being called like back to these mountains in this centaur. Maybe. Why would it be called The Centaur's Wife? Did she become the centaur's wife? Is she already the centaur's wife? What do I know? I'll let you know when I read it. Next up, I have Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez, which is about Will, what's the other guy, and Ollie, and it's like their love story. It's inspired by Greece, where they have this like summer romance, and then he ends up going to his school, and when he goes to this school, he realizes this guy is not like who he seemed to be in the summer. Like, he's a lot more rude and like the class clown, and he isn't out to anybody. So I think it's going to be interesting and sweet. And then I have The Boy Who Met a Whale by Nisrana Farouk, and this is something I'm going to read with Liam because it's like middle grade vibes. It looks really fun. There's a map. Hold on. There's a map at the beginning. And I think this is about a brother and sister who go... Well, it just says the boy, but I'm pretty sure it's a brother and sister, and they see this whale. And it's a giant whale. And they go back and like, do people believe them or something? Or it also says that it's about a character named Zhang who tells a story, and then there's a brother and sister. So maybe this is the guy who met the whale originally, and now he's telling the story, and then we have the brother and sister. Or who really knows? What's the point of a haul if I don't know what the book's about? My next stack is the most exciting because I am finally in the mood to read more mystery and thriller books beyond just like the one a month I've been doing. So let me know which of these I should prioritize and you want to hear about. This one you don't have to vote for because I'm definitely already reading it. It's still literally dead book club pick for April. It's probably one of my favorite covers of all time. Seeing it in person was just a great day. It's called Every Vow You Break by Peter Swanson. I haven't started it yet, but it's about a honeymoon. I feel like, again, I'm just pitching it the same way I've pitched it probably 10 times this year in so many different videos, and I'm sorry. But I don't want to know anymore. Like, I like to go into mysteries just unaware, so I can be surprised by even the little things that aren't meant to surprise you. So they go on this honeymoon, and apparently the wife had an affair right before they left at her bachelorette party, and that man has followed them to the island, and what? Dun dun dun. That's all I know. Next up, I grabbed If I Disappear by Eliza Jane Brazier. And what is this about? This is about a true crime podcast. Hold on. What's her name? Rachel. They're always named Rachel. I feel like I've talked about this before. Rachel runs a true crime podcast, and she has a listener named Sarah, and Sarah goes to investigate and like take all of the skills that she's learned from Rachel, and she needs to track down Rachel. So she goes to this small town, I think, and there's like a farm or a ranch that she goes to find things out, and then she goes missing, or she discovers other people have gone missing from this ranch, something like that. I'm actually like rethinking my entire love of this cover. I thought I loved this cover, but it doesn't look like a mystery to me. It looks like fantasy, and now like I keep hoping that it has fantasy elements, because that would be such a great twist to have in a thriller. Anyway, next up I have The Burning Girls by CJ Tudor, and this is about, oh yeah, this is about a reverend and his 14-year-old daughter moving to a new town, and there's like all of this stuff that went on before they got there. He is, I think, responsible for doing some exorcisms. They're ghosts of the past. I think that's like literal, and it's going to be kind of paranormal. It's set in a remote village. 2 teenage girls previously disappeared, etc. Next, I had a lot of success at Value Village because I found both of these, which are 2 thrillers I was interested in, but like not interested in enough last year to pay full price. But clearly somebody bought them from, what is this sticker, Walmart, Costco, and then left them for me. These are 2 authors I've previously enjoyed, and I've heard good things about both of these books, so I'm just stoked about it. I don't actually fully know the plot of A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreight. I think it is about like the idea of this seemingly perfect marriage, but there's always things going on behind closed doors that nobody knows about. So we're following a character named Lizzie, who is a prosecutor. She has a devoted husband. There are cracks in the marriage, and then an old friend has been accused of murdering his wife, and he is calling up Lizzie to like represent him, and I think she's gonna find out things about their marriage, about her current marriage. Does her current husband go missing or something? Oh, there's drama at their children's school, a close-knit group of fellow parents. Everybody has secrets. Maybe it'll be like Leanne Moriarty vibes. Okay, and then To Tell You the Truth by Jilly McMillan. Jilly McMillan I've had mixed experience with, so I think this will be a good like tiebreaker of sorts. Oh, this is the one that has to do with a missing husband. So in this one we have a character named Lucy, and she's an author. Her husband's jealous, and then her husband vanishes, and it's like, who did it? Was it you? And then also 3 decades ago her little brother Teddy went missing. So I think there's like investigations going on, blah blah blah. And so like, is somebody sabotaging her, or did she do it and she's an unreliable narrator? Like, we're gonna find out. Next, we have to look at these 2 covers together because they match and they're very pretty. Ooh, this one's called She's Too Pretty to Burn. I'm Living for the Pink Hair. It's by Wendy Hurd, and it's a YA mystery. Yes, I know I should stop picking up YA mysteries because I never love them, but when it looks this good, I must have it. This is inspired by The Picture of Dorian Gray, which somebody reminded me about recently, because I was like, I'm gonna read this, and they were like, you still haven't read Dorian Gray, and I was like, you're right. So I don't actually remember if I've ever hauled this. Still don't know the entire plot of this. I know it's by Oscar Wilde, and it's shorter than I always thought, so I will read these in tandem. I don't know if I want to make it like a vlog because like I don't know how this is gonna go, but it's a sexy psychological thriller exploring the intersections of love, art, danger, and power, and I think that applies to both of them. Perhaps. In this one, I think we have a love triangle between 3 girls. Like 2 different girls are in love with this new girl, or like are using her as their muse. I'm sure if I had read this or even have a basic understanding of it, I would be able to pitch this better. Anyway, the other one I have that is super cute is called A Taste for Love by Jennifer Yen. And this is about a girl whose mom, well, her family owns a bakery, and her mom does this like bakery competition, I think regularly, but this year she has intentionally only brought contestants that are young Asian American men, and her mother has handpicked them for Liza to like date. So it's like a bachelorette style competition, and it just sounds super cute. And I think she is going to reluctantly, you know, fall for one or more of the guys involved. Next up, because I only want to own teal books from now on, I don't know. I picked up, that's not why I picked this up, but I picked up This Way Madness Lies, Reimaginings of Shakespeare, edited by Dahlia Adler. This has some authors that, this is just like my favorite like concept ever. I loved his Hideous Heart, which is the one for Edgar Allan Poe, and this one I've just been so hyped about, but I don't know, I'm like not ready. I'm not ready for it. This has stories from authors that I've loved, like Kay Ancrum and Lily Anderson and Anna Marie McLemore and Tochi Onyebuchi, and then authors that I have never even heard of, which is like my favorite thing about short story collections. I don't know why everyone doesn't love short story collections, but I just love getting introduced to new authors, and then also like in between full-length novels that only come out every couple years, I just get a little taste from like my favorite authors. I'm just so beyond excited to read this. And then this other beautifully colored one has been on my Goodreads TBR for years, and it's called The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Schult. Is it real world with some fantasy stuff, or is it like purely fantasy? We're following a 17-year-old girl who was born into a world of water. There's something to do with like revivals, so like people can be revived, and I think something went down, her sister died, and now she's reviving her sister to find out like what happened and to like atone for these crimes that she claims she never committed. I've been intrigued by this for a very long time, so when I saw it on sale, I had to pick it up. Next is a book I'll be reading really soon called House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. It's one of my 5-star predictions of the year. And this is also fairy tale vibes. There are 3 sisters. They disappeared when they were little, and then they came back, and since then they've been like really weird, like their bodies have been changing and people are like weary of them, and then one of the sisters goes missing and the other sisters are trying to track her down via all of these clues, and I think like find out the truth, as we do, about like where they really came from and where they really belong. Yeah, I really need to start doing monthly hauls again. This video is getting long and I'm getting tired. Am I okay? Next up I have The Mirror Season, speaking of Anna Marie McLemore. This is their newest thing, and it is about sexual assault. And we have 2 different characters who both were assaulted on the same evening at the same party, and one of them has memories of it and one of them doesn't. And it's about like making the decision to share in this trauma, or and like how much to remind the other person and like move on potentially from it and like come together. There's a lot of books I feel like recently, I know that this was a topic also with Stay Gold, I feel like YA covers recently have looked a lot like lighter and happier than the actual subject matter, and like, yeah, even if you read, once you read the synopsis you get it, but sometimes I just feel like the covers are not really setting you up for the right style of book, because this is really, really dark and a really difficult read. I need to talk about this more in my wrap up, and I wonder if like other books that I'm going to read upcoming also fit into that. Just a thought I wanted to put out there. Next up, I picked up My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich by Ibiza Boy. I have never disliked an Ibiza Boy book, so I'm really excited to read this one. It is middle grade and it's inspired by space. So we're following a young girl who is just moving from Alabama to Harlem to live with a different person in her family while her mother deals with stuff going on with her grandfather, who was an engineer at NASA. So it's about like the love of outer space and the connection her and her grandfather had, I don't know, and also like getting comfortable in a new living situation, something like that. I think I'll also read that one with Liam. Next, again at Value Village, I think I found The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I've only read a nonfiction from him. Is that correct? But this one is his debut novel. It's about a magical gift, a devastating loss, and an underground war for freedom. So we have a character named Hiram who lost his mother and gained this gift of life. Like he kind of came back to life, and this brush with death inspires this journey that he goes on. It's about atrocities inflicted on generations of women, men, and children, violent separations of families, the wars they wage to simply make lives with the people that they love. And it's another teal cover. These kind of go together too. This next one is called The Gone Dead by Chanel Benz. I want to do a whole reading vlog at some point about books revolving around inheritance, because I always tend to love them, whether it's like a huge sum of money or just like a house in the middle of nowhere. I love that trope or idea of like coming into something that was passed down to you and like learning like the truth about family that you never would have gotten the opportunity to learn. Like I feel like that's kind of what I look for with inheritance stuff. So this says she inherited a little money and a shack in Mississippi. We're following a character named Billy. Her dad was a poet. It's been 30 years since she has been to this town, and her only neighbors are the McGees, a family whose history has been entangled with her since the days of slavery. Basically, there's this rumor that she went missing the day that her dad died, and that mystery is what drives the whole story, and she's trying to find out the truth about what happened on that day and this missing piece from her past. And then I picked up a Jonathan Safran Foer. I read Eating Animals a couple years ago, and it's one of my favorite nonfictions ever. And I feel like this is kind of in a similar vein. It's focused on climate change, but it also, like, that is automatically tied to the conversations that were had in Eating Animals. I just feel like he writes really compelling pieces that include like stories from his own experience and also just like conversations about society as a whole and the earth. And I don't know, it says, will future generations distinguish between those who didn't believe in the science of global warming and those who said they accepted the science but failed to change their lives in response? So it's about like, do those of us who accept the reality of human-caused climate change, do we truly believe it? And like, are we doing what we should be doing with that information? I love this cover. I've enjoyed this author. I feel like this is gonna be a win. So that's everything that I picked up in the last couple months, I think. I've probably missed some things. I'm very sorry. I feel like I say that every time. It's just like, I know that someone's gonna be like, didn't you buy this book and this book in a vlog and not show it? Which is definitely possible and has happened before, because sometimes I just slip books away and then forget about the fact that I bought them. Anyway, let me know if you're interested in anything I talked about, if you've read anything here, what you want me to read. I actually had one question for the few of you who made it this far. I meant to talk about it earlier in the mystery thriller section. There's a book that I've been thinking about buying over and over again. And I know that like people will say, oh, you don't have to read the first book in a series to read the next book. And I already know that like that's gonna be an answer, but I want the facts from somebody who's actually read it. Can I read The Butterfly House without reading its predecessor? Because I really want to pick this up. I really want to read it for a vlog, but I don't want to pick it up if I have to read the first book in the series first. Like maybe I still will, but I just like won't pick it for this specific vlog if I have to read something first. Let me know. I'm sure there's someone out there who's gonna give me just like the exact answer I want. I'm sure I could have asked this on Twitter or something, but I want somebody to confirm that this is a thing, because then I'll haul it next time. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.